Welcome to this evening's news station at Channel 304. Before we begin our breaking news, let's go over the weather. It is currently cold at 65 degrees. Now moving on to tonight's heated topic. Why democratic capitalism is more beneficial than state capitalism for America. For the viewers who don't know what democratic capitalism is, let me briefly go over it. Democratic capitalism is a combination of a free market and economic incentives with a constitutional system of government in which both individuals and groups are represented. Now moving on to Stephanie to give the first argument in favor of democratic capitalism.
Thanks, Jason. So now I'm going to talk to you about how incentives to be rich encourage innovation among businesses. Businesses have to continue to innovate to increase the variety and the value that they provide to their consumers. Many consumers may become easily bored with the existing products and services offered, and businesses have to race to capture their new interests. One of the ways to do that is through innovation. Capitalist markets gives consumers the freedom to choose exactly which firms and products that they want to support. No one is forced to engage in any particular exchange. A thoughtfully managed and regulated capitalist economy harnesses people's self-interest and uses that to encourage the broader interests of society. These selfish incentives allow people to solve larger problems at a smaller scale. Competition between different capitalists leads to intensive and extensive growth as they reinvest their profits into the development of new ideas through innovation. This will lead to more efficient processes for the firms. Let Megan tell you more about how they would do that.
All right, thank you so much, Stephanie. So not only does this quest for innovation and the desire to become wealthy influence individuals, but it also has a substantial and a rippling effect on the way businesses are strategizing and performing within the market. Firms in this type of society are driven largely by profit and economic growth, and therefore they're taking extreme measures to cut costs and avoid waste as best as they can. For example, we're seeing high-tech companies like Microsoft, Google, and Apple who are constantly revisiting, revising, and improving upon their company infrastructure. If firms don't remain productive, they'll lose profit and they could even go out of business. Therefore, we see more risk-taking and innovation within firms, which has led to some of the greatest discoveries and innovations of mankind. Now, handing it over to Jennifer to tell you more about how customers have a large influence on production and the market.
Thanks, Megan. While firms strive to innovate and play an influential role amongst consumers to prosper in this competitive market, consumers' desires heavily influence the next steps for enterprises as they compete with each other to satisfy the wants and needs of their target consumers. With the freedom to voice their opinions on how the market is doing and what is offered, economic growth and living for a significant proportion of the population is improved. Companies compete to serve the needs of consumers, resulting in competition to strive for their best in order to benefit society and the company itself, as their success is dependent on the demand of the consumer's desires. Up next is Keith to summarize why democratic capitalism is better system over state capitalism.
Thank you, Jennifer. I think we all brought up some really nice points tonight. So as we can see, democratic capitalism provides economic incentives for people to innovate. This harnesses people's self-interest, breeds competition, and forces society to innovate. Secondly, firms also have incentives to be efficient. This competition forces businesses to cut costs, not waste resources, and remain productive in order to function in the economy. And finally, consumers are free to choose what products and services that they desire. This ensures that society's needs are met through freedom of choice within the markets themselves. Thank you for tuning in tonight, folks, and now moving on to our next story.